But if I were to get married to a man, I would only be marrying a man who is putting land, properties, and assets in my name. The idea that a woman would want security when we know that men are unreliable. Not only are they unreliable, they are a woman's apex predator. Yes, we are encouraging the women we are emboldening to get married to enter this decision with their best interest at heart. We're taught to follow the distraction of love, romantic love. What about love? Well, this is all about love. The man who loves me will make sure that I am secure for the rest of my life. But unfortunately, most marriages are not structured or approached in that way. Women are taught to approach marriage from a place of leading with emotion. Again, that's to distract us, because if we put our emotions aside and focus on the logic and the rationale and the reality of how will this benefit me, most women will not marry men. We will be in commune with each other and leave the men to fend for themselves.
Okay.
Oh.
So, do you guys agree with her? Is
marry a man with vision.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Don't have. I said marry the man with the vision. With the vision. And I think that's what's most valuable. A man that has something can lose it, have it today, it'd be gone tomorrow. But if the man got a vision and a plan, then y'all will be all right for the rest of your life.
I think you marry a man who's God-fearing. And I say that
no vision, you signing up, you don't know where you're going.
Yeah, the vision comes with, I'm assuming, God-fearingness.
Hold on, y'all. Mike. I think some people on delay. Hold on. Ty and then Jess. Not Kevin did a whole wardrobe change.
They can't focus for my damn hat, so let me take the hat off.
Go ahead, Ty.
I think that a woman needs to be able to find a man that is God-fearing. That's how you know what path that you're going down. I think that when you try to find a man based on assets or value or money, you always find yourself in a bad predicament in the end. We have to value things more than monetary things.
Do you think, so I've got a question. Do you think most men have that's the type of qualities you just said?
Do most men have money? Or are most men God-fearing?
Yeah, are most men God-fearing, you think?
No, absolutely not. We live in a generation of people who don't even believe in God. So no.
Okay. So if most men aren't God-fearing, right, what should be the next step for women?
You're looking for a leader. You're looking for somebody with leadership qualities. And so when it comes to being in a marriage, it's not a contract. So we're looking at property, we're looking at assets, we're looking at, what can I get and what can we put into this form prior to us taking this plunge to make sure that I'm taken care of. But a contract is an agreement between two people based off distrust. Marriage is a covenant. It's based off trust. It's based off love. So if you don't go into marriage understanding what marriage actually is, then you're not going to prosper in it. And if you don't believe in God, then what are you going to do when you get married? If you don't believe in God, why are you married?
Okay.
God is important. That's fancy and stuff, but where is God in that divorce court? It's like people have to have a preventative measure. It sounds nice to say it and not to be disrespectful to anybody's higher power, but that don't do nothing for nobody. All that.
Well, it doesn't do anything for you because you've chosen not to.
Not me.
Pinnacle, or anybody who has that mindset. If it's not a pinnacle for you, then it's not going to do anything for you. But when what God ordains, a man can't change. Once you decide to
ordain marriage, though.
Absolutely, because marriage is God's idea.
No, marriage existed long before religion and church. We've been getting married long before we were jumping brooms and going to churches and there was a Bible. We have been creating lifelong relationships and calling them the word marriage.
We've been creating lifelong relationships and calling
them. They may use their beliefs as a covenant to their marriage, but marriage existed long before religions.
That's a relationship where two people coexist for a long period of time, or they were actually calling it the covenant of marriage.
They call it marriage. The word marriage existed before religion did.
Okay, can you help me?
But I can also see how someone who strongly identifies with God can see it that way. How can you do these things that are, you got to do pretty much by ceremony, asking God to be a part of it, just to have it. You would think one can't get married. Why would you want marriage without God? But if you think logically, there are many reasons why somebody would want marriage, lifelong relationship, covenant, children, heritage, legacy. God wouldn't have to have anything to do with that.
Go ahead, Jess been waiting. Jess and then 2K. I know 2K want to get in there. Go ahead, Jess.
So I just want to say this, Ty, marriage is absolutely contractual. And this is me saying this objectively, right? I want to look at the situation objectively. And this doesn't mean I agree or disagree. This is just me looking at it. I just want to preface it by saying that. As it relates to marriage being a death trap for women, we can just say that studies prove that women do not thrive in marriages the way men do. And when we talk about different assets, properties, and things that a man should have as it relates to going into a marriage, I do think that those things are very valid. I think men and women value completely different things. And I do think that if you take the emotion up out of it, a lot of the men, or a lot of the times, the man is not, that's not to say you shouldn't love your spouse, because there are plenty of arranged marriages where you have to grow to love your spouse. But oftentimes, you don't necessarily have to marry for love. You don't. People choose to marry for love, but you don't have to. And basically what the commentator is stating, that some of the other things, we're not benefiting from that. Yeah, I might love this man, but we still sitting in the sugar shack. That's not to say you can't make it up out the sugar shack, but I'm just looking at it objectively. So at least the least this man could do is have these other outliers to compensate for X, Y, and Z. So I do believe that to an extent she did make a point with that.
I don't know. I think it's okay to be able to build with the person. You know what I mean? I think it's about building. So I don't think that marriage always has to stem from the word love. And that's why I use trust as well. So trust is a big deal. Trust is probably,
you know how many married people don't trust their spouse?
Right, because we have no faith. We
So
have
why
no,
you married to
not
him?
even God, not even from a spiritual perspective. We don't have faith in the
Man,
person.
y'all don't trust men. Let's keep it a buck. Women
We don't
don't
trust
trust
men.
men
We
to
don't
really
even
just lead them
make
into
good decisions when we decide who we want to spend the rest of our life with. So how can you expect a man to instill a trust and a healthy vision moving forward when you don't even trust or even understand what it is that you're expecting within yourself?
Well, see, that's where a lot of women go wrong, right? That's not to say women don't trust men, but women don't trust every man. If a woman relinquishes her control and follow your suit and submit to you, women don't give that to a lot of men. So if she's giving that to you, she truly supports you. But if you're having some back and forth with a woman, she does not trust your ability to lead X, Y, and Z, then either party should walk away from that particular situation. Is that always what happens? No, because you could be messing around with somebody, kids can be involved. You may like this person, but they may not be a husband or a wife. So I think there's a lot of gray area in that.
I think you can find a husband through observation. I think that we don't observe enough. We think that we need to move forward quickly. We don't take time to actually.
You just said you didn't vet your husband though. So now you're saying you should vet. So which one is it?
I didn't hear what you said.
You said previously you didn't vet your husband.
Vetting
so
is not observation. Vetting and observing are not the same thing. Having a list of things, a checklist of things that you want to correlate to who you want to spend your life with is not the same as observing who a person is in their natural being. And when women want to change men, they want to put men in a box that they see qualifies for them. But men aren't to qualify for you. They're not tools to be qualifying. They're for you to understand who he is and ask yourself, are you willing to get on that program? Are you willing to unite yourself with that vision? And if you're not, then he's not your husband.
Isn't observing an act of vetting?
Yes.
You have to be able to use what you see.
No, not an act of vetting, an act of
observation.
Looking.
Yeah, but what is the purpose of the observation? You're observing to observe what and to determine what based on that observation.
Because marriage is an agreement. So just because a man wants to marry you doesn't mean that you have to marry him. But it also doesn't mean that you have this crazy standard where he is to jump through loops and hoops to make sure that he can meet those things when you're missing out on so many good men because your standards are outrageous.
So we're talking about women who just said crazy.
They don't have a good,
I'm gonna be honest though,
of what they need to be looking for. You're looking for a big penis before you're looking for provision, before you're looking for protection. And before provision, before protection, the man don't even have any faith. It doesn't have to be in the God I believe, but he don't have faith in anything.
Can you expound on the God? Why must the man be God fearing in order to be with you?
Because what's the alternative?
What's the alternative?
What's the alternative? He doesn't believe in anything. He doesn't believe in God. He doesn't believe in anything. So what's the alternative?
Self-conscious, self-aware.
Baby, listen, I don't believe in God, but I believe in myself. That's been getting the job done. And I mean in a good way.
But yourself.
Huh?
So you've gotten to everywhere you've gotten to, like in life, you haven't experienced anything but yourself.
If it ain't myself, it's been the greatness of good people, not.
What do you think? How do you determine what a good person is?
Because they'll do good stuff.
How do you know what a good thing is? It's a moral. Where do you get morals from?
Good to me. Like if Anton gave me $500, Anton's a good dude for that act.
Okay. How do you know what a good thing is? That's what I'm asking you. Where do you get good and bad from? You get it from morals. And where does morals stem from?
Morals don't stem from religion or Bible or
character experience.
You benefit from good and you
Morals
suffer.
do not come from God.
It's experience. You suffer from negative, you benefit from good.
What y'all talking about, bro?
When you say morals come from God, you have to think about this. The same God who said, "Do not kill," commanded the Israelites to kill 3,000 of each other when they were worshiping a golden calf.
Why do people do that? Why do y'all take the Bible out of context?
Not wrong when God says that.
One mic. Oh, a mic. We gotta do one mic. We gotta do one mic.
Sorry.
So no, hold on. Let's get back to the question. I'm trying to see, because I am a husband and I'm not God fearing. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to see, why do I need to be God fearing so I can go be God fearing?
Well, hold on, let me answer that. Let me jump in here for a second. Because you have to be equally yoked. And to be equally yoked means that you can't have people on opposite sides of the fence going in the same direction, because y'all not. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that they a bad person, but y'all growing in two different directions. You can't have a person that believes in all of the things that comes along with being a Muslim woman marrying a person that's an atheist. It doesn't align.
It's alignment.
And it's impossible for y'all to be able to raise children with the same values. It's impossible for y'all to be able to go down the same path and have the same level of understanding when it comes to what success is, because that person's idea of success could be being great to the community or not necessarily caring about money. You could be money driven, and then another person could love money, and then this other person could be successful because the things that they're doing is adding value into people's lives. I'll give you an example. Both of us may be great businessmen, right? But then your moral compass is different than mine. So if we go into the business of creating a restaurant together, and then I say, you know what, the profits are enough, and we need to make sure that we keep the quality high. But then you say, well, we just have to meet the minimum standards or whatever the USDA say, and we need to lower the quality so we can increase profits. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're a bad person because you're abiding by the law, but it means that we got two different value systems and it's going to clash and we shouldn't be in business together, right? So my point is that you have to be equally yoked. You cannot go out here and be with somebody that's not going in the same direction as you're going in. And that's not just with religion or spirituality, that's in everything. And so when she says it's God-fearing, you got to be God-fearing, she's giving you what her moral compass is that then aligns with everything else that's going to fall into place under whatever it is that she believes. And it doesn't mean that you're wrong. It just means that you're not for her. You may be a good man, but you're not for her.
That's not true, okay?
It is true.
Oh, it ain't. Because first of all, God gave me the babies, and he was all-knowing, so he knew that I am who I am. Okay, but let's break it down. You talking about being equally yoked. I'm the leader.
You could be a demon.
I'm not a demon. I don't even believe in that.
To her, you could be a demon.
I'm not. There's no such thing as a demon.
Which is why y'all shouldn't even be in the same room having a conversation about getting.
You don't get where you're coming from, Tukay. He right about that.
Hold on. Wait. Because that's my kids believe in imaginary boogie monsters and people under the bed.
He's still trying to convince us about what his beliefs are. I don't care what your beliefs are. I don't care if somebody is a Christian or a Muslim or whatever. What I'm saying is y'all will not be able to exist in the same house.
Me as the leader,
raise kids together. It's impossible.
No, that's not true because me as the leader, it's up to
Okay,
me.
you're gonna forever have problems, bro.
Right,
If you don't want your children,
Can
if you don't
y'all
want your children praying to Jesus before they can even read, you're gonna have problems because a mother who believes in Jesus gonna be having your children talk to Jesus before they can
Yeah.
spell.
More important,
Y'all gonna bump heads. He ain't lying.
But
she can't follow you if she doesn't believe in you.
No, she wouldn't.
Listen,
Which is why they have to be equally yoked.
That's a fact.
Okay, so check this out. And me as the leader, it's up to me to let my wife know that it ain't real. Okay, and I show through my actions. I don't care who she believe in. She can believe in God. She can pray to God. But at the end of the day, when everything got to be fucking paid, get off your knees. I got the fucking bill money. Okay.
Cool.
No. You can say all you want to, but me being God fearing don't help me with shit. That's my wife putting another nigga above me, and that's a no-go.
You have a big ego, huh?
I don't have a big ego.
It seems as though.
I don't. But listen, y'all see.
No, it literally is his wife putting someone else above him. I mean, whether
it really isn't. It is
God.
God is above him if God exists. That's a fact.
See, that's how I know that y'all. That's how
follow God. Follow God. Hang on. He's supposed to follow God as she follows him, right? So if she believes in God, she is saying that he's supposed to follow someone greater than himself, which is God. I don't think Ty would disagree with that.
Listen, hold on. What y'all trying to do is y'all trying to gaslight me into thinking that I'm second place.
Why do you just keep making this about you?
No. Y'all trying
to say he can't lead his family because he don't believe in God.
Listen,
God, the relationship.
Y'all gotta do one mic.
Y'all don't know how to speak on a subject. Y'all don't know how to speak on a subject without making it personal to you. And what that tells me a lot of times is that y'all are struggling with your own spirituality, realistically. When you can't speak about a subject objectively without inserting yourself into it and getting offended by when somebody then uses your example against you, that means that you're struggling with your own spirituality. That means that you feel that historically, what I found is that means that you are defensive about it and you keep inserting yourself into it. And you can't speak objectively about it, which means that it's impossible for you to get an understanding because you only see it in one lens.
Cut me off, man. Y'all you in a general context.
You got it. Go ahead.
Okay, in a general context, so Anton don't think that I'm having some type of issue. In a general context, if y'all want a man to think that he's second place in a woman's life while doing 100% of the work, y'all want me to think that logic, the way y'all think, is culpable. Y'all want me to think that that's okay.
That's not what we said.
That's
about how you framing it.
That's not what we're saying.
That's how you framing it.
Let him finish.
Y'all, you mean to tell me I bust my ass every fucking day, and when I pay everything, pay bills, he go, I'll show you the sweat equity. And then you praising another nigga for my work? I'm supposed to come second to that? Y'all fucked up.
Okay. On top of that, say you're supposed to fear him.
Hold on, wait.
On top of that, say you're supposed to fear him.
This is again.
Here.
This is how I know it's a lack of understanding. The way that you show you love God is the way that you praise the people and acknowledge the people that are on this earth that he put above you. It has nothing to do with her saying, I'm praising God. The way that she shows, that's why it says love is an action word. The way that you show that you love God is by having him as the apple of your eyes, having him in your admonition, by thanking him, by showing appreciation to the person that God put in your life to lead you. So you so busy being offended by thinking that she's praising God instead of acknowledging you. And that's why you shouldn't be unequally yoked with a woman that ain't even supposed to be with you, because if she understood the word of God, then she would understand that her showing love to her husband is the thing that she's doing to praise God. It has nothing to do with whether or not she's saying, thank you, God, for keeping the lights on. Her saying, thank you for keeping the lights on and what it is that you do in order to provide for our family, because it's God over man, man over woman, woman over child. The child should be thanking the woman for what it is that the father is providing for them to have on the food on the table.